you show me just a little bit of honesty. I'd hope I got a heart that I can salvage, but it's getting harder now to recall. I know well why let out both dry. You could have anything you wanted, anything you wanted it all for your fool's gold. And I know well why deaf and half blind. You could get anything you wanted, yeah, I would have handed it all over, falling for you. Only the fall for you, for you, for you. Only the fall for you, came in and you're looking like a sign of grace. I know, but I can never match your name to face my fault. But when I noticed it was far too late, you left a fingerprint on my soul.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a circuit that demands absolute precision, bravery, and just a little bit of luck. Tonight I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, and it's green, green, green here at the Miami Autodromo Internazionale. Side by side, there goes Sean Stan, the Stanman, and the 000 as well. Papa Green made up 3 positions in 2 laps. With Leslie Simpkins now throws his elbows out at Drew.
Six rounds. 1 final stop. And it all comes down to Road America. Tonight, the SentriCore MIP Endurance Challenge, presented by Sausage Dodgers Racing, brings its GT3 Endurance Championship to the biggest and baddest stage on the schedule. Round 6, the season finale. And at over 4 miles in length, Road America is a circuit that makes drivers earn everything. Heavy braking zones, long straights, fast-flowing sections, and the kind of lap where one mistake can follow you for half of the track. That is what makes this such a fitting place to end a season. In GT3 machinery, Road America rewards drivers who can stay disciplined on the brakes, maximize their exits, manage their cars over a long run, without giving away speed when it matters most. It's not just a test of pace, it's a test of judgment, execution, and composure under pressure. That pressure is at its highest tonight. There's no more future rounds, no time to recover, no second chances after this one. Whatever has been building all season now meets its final chapter here. This is Sausage Dodgers Racing. Welcome to Road America for round 6 of the championship finale. It's time to go racing. Thank you very much to our title sponsor, SentriCore MIP. Take a look at our championship standings after we get through the intro. It'll be Road America, the full course, 6.41 kilometers. And the drivers have 100% fuel to get around for 90 minutes. Nail the brakes, maximize your exits, curb control, hit them, don't abuse them, and build the lap, obviously. Taking a look at the points, it's Thomas Wright leading by just a handful over Mark Richards. Oleg Karmanov with 137 leads Tim Williams, Konstantinos Nikolaitis, Mauro Gabbiati, Marino Clark, James Piper, all separated by 5 points. Chris Carr, Paul Sims rounds out our top 10. Formation lap underway, full formation lap to be completed here to give the drivers a little bit of reprieve and time to warm up their tires. Good evening, race fans. Good evening, friends. Andrew Kesserton in the chat. Benedito De Vizzo also here. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Take a look at that starting grid, shall we? Thomas Wright and Chris Carr on the first row. Further back, it's going to be Mattia Ubertali and Oleg Karmanov. Then Vincenzo Stagnito alongside the great Mark Richards. Row number 4 belongs to Dan Miller and Konstantinos Nikolaitis. Row number 5 going the way of Daniel Moffat and Tim Williams. Row number 6, Lorenzo Gorgetto and Elio Danilo Vinci. Row number 7 for Paul Sims and Lloyd Butler. Uncle Lloyd Butler to you. Row number 8 for David Drury. That'll round out the 15 drivers taking to this championship finale. Take a look at our top 5 right now. Wright leads, Richards down in P6. Although Karmanov could get P2 in the championship. Tim Williams in P8 and Konstantinos Nikolaitis running in P15 right now. A lot of work to be done for Nikolaitis currently. Lots of history here around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Elevation change is only around 171 feet here. 14 corners, 8 to the right, 6 to the left in total. 6.515 kilometers technically. Founded in 1955. Here we go, ready to take the green flag in just a few moments. Chris Carr is going to lead us around the racetrack now. Chris Carr and Thomas Wright on the race start. Going to be the battle for first place that we want to keep our eye on all race long. Matteo Ubertali trying to upset the field from third place, driving the second Lamborghini. Uncle Lloyd driving the first one, and there's green flag in the air. Green, green, green. Thomas Wright takes off like a rocket ship. Barney waving that flag furiously for us. Welcome, race fans, to the finale of the Sausage Dodger SentriCore MIP Endurance Challenge. It'll be a good run for the McLaren single file for most of the field. I think that's Oleg Karmanov in the background, going a little bit off at turn 1. Tumbling behind Daniel Moffat is going to be Elio Danilo Vinci, but he's gained 2 so far on his charge. Looking pretty right now. No positions lost or gained for the top 5 currently, as they all sit right where they're supposed to. Karmanov having a little bit of a connection issue right now, but he's doing all right. Taking a look at the bottom of the hill at turn number 5, it will be wheel to wheel between a pair of drivers, Karmanov and Stagnito, the 21 and the 64, getting involved with a little bit of action right now. The Corvette trying to make hay while the sun is shining, but now loses the position and goes back down 1. Mark Richards looking to get a tussle involved with this one. There goes the 420 of Mark Richards, gaining 1 position around the outside of Oleg Karmanov. First time of asking, we go to the carousel out of the hurry downs, and then we'll go to the kink. The super drivers have to stay absolutely composed and careful. There we go, a little bit of an off there from Dan Miller, the number 23 in the background. Looking forward to a little side-by-side battle at the kink. That'll be dangerous between Richards and Karmanov, but they negotiate that one pretty smoothly. Holy Toledo. What about Daniel Moffat and Lorenzo Gorgetto? Dan Miller and Tim Williams 2x2 into Canada. And then they'll go 2x2 through the kink at 13, and 14 becomes a hairpin at the end of the day. They have to be careful, not run too far off. There goes the switchback engaged from Twim Williams. The 797 taking off like it's Boeing namesake. Battle for the lead still separated by just nil between Thomas Wright and Chris Carr currently. Thomas Wright trying to shake off the draft that he is giving to Carr behind. Right now, it's just not working out for Chris Carr on his run to go for another win. He's staying within striking distance, but for now, it's not going to go his way. Take a look at Mark Richards here. He's up one, still leads Oleg Karmanov currently. A little further back, Lorenzo Gorgetto, Lloyd Butler, and Paul Sims. And there goes Elio Danilo Vinci on Sims. And that was a big, strong defense from Elio Danilo Vinci to the inside line afterwards. Here we go. There's a long leg Lamborghini behind. Lloyd Butler having a little bit of fun on the racetrack. Chris Carr, Thomas Wright lead the charge. Let's take a look back here at the battle between Uncle Lloyd and Paul Sims. That one settled at turn one, pretty steadfast between the pair of them. Chris Carr and Thomas Wright exchanged a little bit of blows, or they exchanged a little bit of network connectivity issues as Thomas Wright blinks in and out of existence for just a moment to give us a whole of fright. Paul Sims here. With nothing lost, but also nothing gained just yet. He's going to be locked in arms with Uncle Lloyd Butler here. On board now with Paul Sims as we look ahead to the action. With Lloyd Butler getting a bad exit out of turn 8, leading into turn 9, the carousel. Paul Sims has to negotiate how he gets close to Uncle Lloyd and presents his move to attack. No attack at the kink. He backed out of that momentum that he was carrying before he got there. All the way up to 6th gear now, going down the back straight through the kettle bottoms. We head down to Canada Corner. And he closes down the gap on Uncle Lloyd, the number 35. Not using all the track at Canada. I think he got away with using a little bit more of the track width there to gain more time. Takes off like a rocket ship through 13 and 14. Has a bit more planted confidence than Paul Sims, perhaps. Mark Richards and Vincenzo Stagnito here, the 420 chasing down yet another driver that he has to contend with to get or hold on to that championship lead. Right now in 4th place in front of Vincenzo Stagnito, but we all know Stagnito's a fighter. He's going to put one up on Mark Richards. Here we go into the braking zone of turn 5. Mark Richards used all the track that he bought and paid for, both on entry and on exit. But either way, it wasn't enough to clear Stagnito into 7. He'll beat Stagnito, leading by just a nose. Richard alongside went for a move. He looked, but he could not jump just yet. Konstantinos Nikolaitis is a lap down, has taken a pit stop. What in tarnation is going on to Nikolaitis? He needed everything to go right for him to get into P3, and it's starting to fall apart on him. Lorenzo Gargano, a bit of a sandwich. He's got his teammate behind him of Elio Danilo Vinci, but up ahead, it's the Sausage Dodgers leader of Tim Williams. Here we go, Ferrari on McLaren action. Tim Williams gets enough racing room around the outside, but he's not going to give up just yet. A little switchback under the braking. Under braking, moving over to the inside line on exit. The two McLarens both get a little loose. Tim Williams and Elio Danilo Vinci. Lorenzo Gorgetto driving the 317 leads the trio. Danny Moffat, 2.87 seconds up the road. I don't think we're catching him anytime soon. Tim Williams loses another position, this time to Elio Danilo Vinci. Unfortunate there. Tim Williams still only down one position, though, on his current charge. Thomas Wright and Chris Carr going wheel to wheel all over again would be a pleasure. But unfortunately, I think with that connection issue, he's not looking to go battle it out on the racetrack. He's probably willing to do it in the pit lane. Take a look back here at Vincenzo Stagnito, and now he's got Oleg Karmanov to contend with. Karmanov trying to stay on the racing line, looking at corner number 1. It will be single file between the 64 and the 21. Chris Carr separated by Thomas Wright by half a second now. Between the duo, they're still going to duke it out. Mark Richards leads the Stagnito Oleg Karmanov train. Let's look at the lap times. Here, Richards, fastest of the trio on lap 5. What about lap number 6? That'll be the real indicator. Once the drivers get settled into a rhythm, get a little bit of a gap amongst themselves. It's all going to come down to the pit stop and pit stop execution. How they do it right. Or will they get it wrong? We'll find out here. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z to find out. 12 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Just a sliver of time has gone by here at Lake Elkhart. Dagnino, Karmanov, and Miller, Mofat, Lorenzo Gorgetto, and Vinci. All in your top 10 right now. Nothing's to be decided at this point in time other than Konstantinos Nikolaidis' run. Just a little confused about what's going on there and how that's going to affect his championship. Running back in 15th place has taken an official pit stop by the looks of it. 43 seconds in the lane, so he has taken a pit stop at the very least. Thomas Wright pushing track limits a little bit aggressively, going off track at the carousel. Oh, a little bit of an off there for the 64, Oleg Karmanov. A little bit squirrely there. And Tim Williams getting moves done. Able to get by Elio Danilo Vinci, who went off track. Yeah, sausage replay of what happened here. Elio Danilo Vinci at Canada corner. Tim Williams just gave him a fright. And it was done and dusted. Good pass by Tim Williams to sell the dummy and force the error out of Vinci. Up ahead, we look at Dan Miller, the number 23 driver. Separated by around 0.7 of a second from another German driver. Well, German manufacturer, I should say. The other Porsche on the grid. Danny Mofat driving the Lucky Charms car. They are magically delicious here. I'm surprised that in the UK, y'all even have Lucky Charms. Because isn't that considered not cereal and can't be marketed as children's cereal because it has so much sugar? Yeah, can't you guys not have that in the UK? I think that's a thing. Andrew, let me know if that's a thing or not in the UK. Lucky Charms, contact me at The Real High on Insta. Let me know where you're at with the Lucky Charms sponsorship. You can always sponsor here with Sausage Dodgers Racing if you're looking to become a sponsor and sponsor a broadcast or an event. Come talk to Tim Williams at Sausage Dodgers Racing and let us know in the comments what you're looking for. If you're interested in joining Sausage Dodgers Racing, scan this QR code in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. That one's going to take you directly to our SimGrid page and get you inserted to all of our new leagues. Speaking of new leagues, we have quite a few things coming up across the horizon. We've had the Barham Engines Porsche Cup come to a close, but next up we have the Endurance Championship sponsored by Big Power Hunter Instagram. The Endurance Tour Season 6 kicks off again in just a few weeks' time. We're going back to the original format, GTP and GT3. Scan the QR code on your screen to get inserted into our league. That league will also be broadcasted. Andrew says the Lucky Charms are available but have to be imported. See, that's what I figured. You have to do something illegal to get them. They're like drugs for kids or drugs for adults. I still eat Lucky Charms. My dentist warns me not to, but I still do. Oh my goodness. Dan Miller, hold the phone. Oh, you can't see it from this angle. Oh, God. What have I done? What have I done? Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, we're not pressing that button again. I apologize. All I was trying to do was show Waluigi's head for the number 23. I apologize. Back to the racing action, folks. The Lucky Charms machine chases down Dan Miller, but up ahead, Vincenzo Stagnito has to contend with Oleg Karmanov, who's been running a little bit faster lap after lap. Take a look at the lap times here. Here we go. The battle for the top 10 continues to brew up. David Dury having an off-track. Elio Danilo Vinci having another off-track excursion himself. But comes back still in P11 for Elio Danilo Vinci. And David Dury running down in P14 currently. This BMW is driving pretty well tonight for Vincenzo Stagnito. I'm very impressed with his composure today. The BMW M4 GT3 Evo is a 3-liter twin-turbo inline 6. Capable of 590 horsepower, but obviously due to BOP figures, we're going to get a little bit of a touch there from Karmanov into Vincenzo Stagnito. The 64 gets a little nose there. But now under braking for the following corner. It'll be nice and tight between the 21 and the 64. Vincenzo Stagnito leads Oleg Karmanov. Battle between Thomas Wright and Chris Carr is coming down. And Matteo Bertali actually bringing the gap back. The leading Lamborghini right now could find himself running in P2 in a few moments. Chris Carr continuing to make little tiny mistakes. car right. Ubertali, either three of them could come out on top. 22 minutes and 30 seconds completed on this lap. Be lap 11 completed now. As we head the 104 in the middle between the 68 and the 86. BMW being a good workhorse that it is from Vincenzo Stagnino, but favorites are the Ferraris and the McLarens. Right now, a Lamborghini could be up into P2. What a move there from Mattia Ubertali. Going into turn one, definitely had the overspeed there, but now the Ferrari Williams racing driver Chris Carr in the 104 could snap back at any moment like a piranha. Because Ubertali was faster. Wow, look at that gap now between Ubertali and Carr just coming through turn five, excuse me. 4 is the kink down the straightaway. That's a very good point. Mercs have all disappeared since Daytona, haven't they? Vincenzo Stagnito being the only front engine car driver. Wow. Great point, Benedetto. Or Benedetto De Vezzo. As this gap begins to evaporate, we'll take a look now at Oleg Karmanov and Vincenzo Stagnito. Now I'm curious, how long will Karmanov stay behind and down 2 positions? Last lap around, 2:05.16 from Karmanov, a slight bit advantage over Stagnito that last time by. Benedetto saying, founded race 1, I did the front engine cars, were just no good, at least the Merc. Porsche looks drivable, but struggling mid-speed and not getting power down. Very interesting. Dan Miller and Danny Moffat driving the 2 of 3 Porsches out tonight. Paul Sims driving the 3rd. Danny Moffat leads Gorgetto, and Dan Miller definitely feeling the pressure from behind. And that battle is right behind this one. 4.5 seconds away, but you can see it in the background there. To a 4:09 new last lap, fast lap from the race leader. Thomas Wright continues to extend his gap on Mattia Ubertali.
Gapping a little bit on Mofat and Gorgetto, or both around 3 tenths slower. Stagnito and Karmanov continue to get wheelie. Uh-oh. What's happened to Elio Danilo Vinci? He's had a big moment. Let's see what happened to Elio. Oh, bit of a tank slapper coming through turn 3. Sends him off into the grass, and he's going to come back on the racetrack and then lose it one more time. Ooh, that could have been a big moment for Elio Danilo Vinci. Oleg Karmanov in his battle with Stagnito. And one of these battles I feel like is not going to go anywhere, not for a long time. Not until Stagnito makes a little mistake at Canada Corner and presents an opportunity for Karmanov. Running down the front stretch. Thomas Wright crosses the line. 204.59, 204.1, 204.4 from the trio in the lead. Dan Ramirez in the YouTube chat saying, just found out about your league yesterday. Looking forward to take part in races in the upcoming race. Cool broadcast. Dan Ramirez, thank you so much. I appreciate your love and support. The Sausage Dodgers appreciate your love and support. In case you need the QR code, there it is on the right-hand side of your screen, my friend. Go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take you right over to our SimGrid. This is going to be the end of a championship season. This is round 6. We're coming underway right now for the GT Endurance Tour. We'll be following this one up with yet another endurance run. This one's going to be the original GT3 and GTP Endurance Tour, presented by Sausage Dodgers Racing and sponsored by Big Power Hunter on Instagram. As I said, scan the QR code to get inserted into our leagues. Welcome in, Dan. Welcome in. And hope you're here to stay for a long time and a good time with sausages. Just about 1/3 of the way through this one. Bugs Bunny looking back. His rearview mirrors, nothing to see there. Dan Miller too far back to make anything happen currently. Dan Miller not lapping consistent. Oh, excuse me, just as I say that. Last time by, Dan Miller picks up the pace. Laps in the 204s, 204.8 compared to the 205s by the duo ahead. When you're in a grid like this, when you're in a field this packed with talent, even the smallest of margins mean the world at the end of the day. Mistakes can happen to some, and position can be gained or lost in a heartbeat, especially here in Wisconsin. Karmanov and Stagnito continue their bout. Matt 2362, how many laps in the race? Well, if we're at lap 15, right at the 30-minute mark, 45-ish. Yeah, Andrew's about right. Maybe 43, 45 laps. Vincenzo Stagnino getting a lot of screen time today, folks. Richards unleashes the beast into the 204s. Dan Miller into the 204s also as he chases down Karmanov. The gap continues to fall down. 203.9, though, the gauntlet has been thrown down. The first of the few that have gotten to the 203s. Karmanov trying to go wheel to wheel with Vincenzo Stagnito, and it all goes upside down for the man from Greece. Oh, excuse me, that's not a Greek flag. I have got the country wrong. I apologize. That's a Honduras flag. Interesting. Would never have guessed. Uncle Lloyd running behind Mr. Paul Sims, number 42, Porsche. Karmanov? What happens to Karmanov? Denny Mofat crashes. Hold on. So Mofat just pulled over, and Oleg Karmanov comes down pit road. For regular service. No black flag penalty. Pit window is pretty large here. Andrew Kesterton, how many laps can we go on a full tank of fuel? Do you know that data? I know it's a long run. 60 minutes, 65 minutes. But what's the actual laps? That would put you at 15, 30. 5 minutes would be 1, 2, 3 laps. So 33 laps. Red Fudge says about 24. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Thank you, Red Fudge. So let's see the fuel tank now. So the fuel window is right there. So if we're expected to go Does Karmanov have enough fuel to get to the end? I don't think he does. I think there was a mistake here. Does anybody else agree with me, or am I taking crazy pills right now? Yeah, Moffat looks like a technical for sure. Red flag there, or black flag there for Danny Moffat, mechanical failure. But now here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to show the head-to-head with Mattia Ubertalli. Oh, excuse me, with Vincenzo Stagnito. And once Karmanov gets a few laps in, it'll stop showing 3,130 laps. We'll get some real data. Looking at the battle for the lead, Ubertalli is definitely not catching. Thomas Wright. He's down around 0.3 per lap. Thomas Wright continues to gap the rest of the field. I guess the question will be, how many drivers will he end up lapping by the end of the night? Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications for when we go live next, folks. Really appreciate your guys' love and support. Here at Sausage Dodgers Racing, whether you're watching live now or in the future on either channel, AK Esports, or Sausage Dodgers Network. Stay tuned. We have more racing action coming in the near future. BMW M2s being unleashed, and so are gonna be the Endurance Tour. "41 minutes on the clock exactly." Let's see where we're at the halfway point of this event. Right at 45 minutes. That's what I'm most curious about. Here's Thomas Wright getting ready to cross the line. Andrew Kesterton saying he's signed up for both. Right on, Andrew. Great to see you back on the track again. The BMWs are going to be a hooting time. I am very, very excited for the BMW M2s. Chris Carr comes down pit road. Here we go. Down pit road we go. No speeding penalty yet during having an excursion on track limits, but he's running all right in 13th position, excuse me. This is definitely a track where tires would be acceptable to change out. Let's see what Chris Carr's decision making has gone to. Tires and fuel. Paul Sims into pit lane also. Let's see how much of an advantage this gives Chris Carr. And there's Oleg Karmanov getting by him. .6.7 seconds for Karmanov. Chris Carr, 41.0. Check in with the top 5 and see where they're at. Right now, Thomas Wright, well, he might have the win locked in. Mark Richards running in 3rd position currently. But how long will he maintain that grasp? And will Chris Carr be able to pull off the undercut strategy? Let's check in with a couple of sausages, shall we? Here's Tim Williams coming down the front straight. With a good friend Barney the Flagman to keep us company here at the halfway point of the race. Now, a little bit of traffic for Thomas Wright as he begins to lap the field. It looks like that would be Paul Sims he's catching, the 42. Yes, it is Paul Sims. Paul Sims on a different strategy completely has taken a pit stop already. We're on this very long racetrack. 2 minutes 3 seconds, 0.94 being a fast lap from Thomas Wright. And Wright decides to not pit. Urtali, what do you decide as well? Urtali stays out also. Only a few have decided to come down pit road. Here at the halfway point of the race, let's check in and thank our sponsor. If you like what you see and you want to give a big shout out and thanks to the people that support us, we can support them back. Let's give a big shout out and thanks to SentriCore MIP for their title sponsorship tonight. Throughout this championship, SentriCore MIP has been there for us, and they can be there for you as well. If you're interested in cybersecurity, intel, protection, reach out to SentriCore MIP. If you like what you see and you want to support the stream directly, make sure you scan the QR code on your screen. All the donations go directly to supporting the stream, keeping the lights on, and keeping the Sausage Dodgers community alive. Big shout out and thanks to all of our Patreon subscribers in that Tier 1 category. We have Leslie Simpkins, Andrew Kenny, Mark Richards, Jack McCarthy, Simon Darch, and Richard Beaton side by side here between Mattia Ubertali and the 42, able to make quick work of them. In the Tier 2 category, we have Mickey Phipps, Andrew Kesserton, Sam Marshall, Uncle Lloyd Butler, Benedetto DeVizzo. For our Tier 2 category, of course, we have Jack Jackson, Craig Starkey, and Chris Carr. Towards the meat wall, hanging up there, we have Mr. Kesserton again. Mr. Hutchings, that's Simon Hutchings to you, and Paul Rocky Cook. Thanks to our title sponsor, SentriCore, for keeping the lights on and all of us entertained week after week. Thank you very much, SentriCore, for your title sponsorship of the Sausage Daughters GT3 Championship. Now that things have settled down, we have time to analyze and discuss the cars that we're seeing on track. Let's go over the spec sheet for the GT3 Huracan Lamborghini Evo. 5.2 naturally aspirated. This one's a V10. Power produced around 500 horses. Top speed around 180 miles an hour. 0 to 60 isn't quite consistent. Lamborghini basically has the car identity of my ex-girlfriend. Sharp, aggressive, and very, very, very dramatic when it comes to reacting to problems. Like the Audi, it uses that 5.2 liter V10 platform, but the car has its own handling, personality, and characteristics to it. That's going to reward commitment and smoothness. It can be excellent in medium speed corners, but rough inputs and overdriving the car can overheat the tires or unsettle that rear end. At places like Canada Corner, Kettle Bottoms, drivers could really be challenged that are in these Lamborghinis. Lloyd Butler and Mattia Ubertali, both the drivers dealing with the same engine and manufacturer. Lamborghini is a car that always looks alive. It turns hard, sounds fantastic, and rewards the driver who's brave enough to learn on it. Ooh, there may be a new Lamborghini GT3 next in IRL next year. Ooh, that would be exciting. Here we go. Pit stops becoming a thing. Mattia Ubertali. Let's see what he can do with his pit stop. What strategy does he choose? Where does he come out? How does it fare with Oleg Karmanov, Chris Carr, David Dury, Lorenzo Gorgetto in the pit lane as well? So we're seeing a flurry of pit stops right when the fuel tank starts to run dry. Comes down pit road. Hits the brake point. Sees the lollipop man, and he's stopped in time. Matteo Bertali cycles out in 6th position. Oh, Andrew, don't even talk to me about the new Toyota GT3. I am so excited, bro. I am a Toyota fanboy for life. I cannot wait to see that. Matteo Bertali now behind Tim Williams by 15 seconds. I have a feeling like Matteo Bertali called this one pitch perfectly. He's in a good window. Look at how open the drivers have their tracks. It's pretty much going to be a track day from here on out. HPDE, high performance driving experience. Drivers out here are competing with the stopwatch now, not necessarily each other on the track. Side-by-side battles have concluded, and now we're left to their own devices. This is where competition gets a little fierce, as drivers have to contend with their own demons. It's just you inside that helmet controlling what's happening to the vehicle beneath you. There's no one to blame. There's no one to challenge you. There's no one to give you help either. So if you're hoping for a little bit of tow, if you're hoping for a little bit of draft, well, you can hope no longer. Bertali coming through the final corner. Where does he cycle out? A lot of drivers in the field, in the pits right now. Right, Stagnito, Miller. Bertali coming down the front straight. Not seeing Thomas Wright come out just yet. Here comes Wright out of pit lane. This is going to be a drag into one. Bertali has warmed up his tires. Bertali and Thomas Wright. This is going to be contention for P2. Pit lane time being pretty dramatic between the duo. 110 down the lane versus 108 for Bertali. Bertali definitely faster. In the pits, but it didn't work out. Thomas Wright was able to get ahead. Mark Richards out from the lead now. Tim Williams has to come in next. Chris Carr definitely got something wrong in the pits. That 41-second pit stop cost him a lot of time. Tim Williams coming into his box also. Leaving Bertali and Thomas Wright to their own devices. A little bit of battle brewing here between Dan Miller, Vincenzo Stagnito, and Chris Carr. Carr on that recovery drive right now. There he goes to the inside line, looking for one, not two, on both drivers. Now, Chris Carr is looking for double trouble. Gets to the inside on Vincenzo Stagnito, but Stagnito promptly shuts the door. Stagnito goes over to the racing line, coming through turn number 4. He'll come down the back stretch all the way into the braking zone of turn 5. They're going to go side by side. Vincenzo Stagnito on the inside, Chris Carr on the outside line. Dan Miller watching and waiting in the wings. And Joe staying narrowly ahead of Carr and Miller. Oh, and it looks like Carr gets a tank slapper right in front of the 23. Able to avoid the contact was Dan Miller. And the Ferrari slips back in line. Can Carr catch back up? Last lap was a 2:04.80. Here we go. There goes Chris Carr on Miller's mistake. Coming through Canada. It will belong to Dan Miller at the end of the day. Stagnito, Carr, and Miller. This train battling it out. Hello, Danilo Vinci taking a tow after a big crash by the looks of it. He went off track on lap 28 by the looks of it. $30 minutes left. $30 minutes on the clock. It looks like we'll see, like you were saying, Andrew, that just about 41 laps in total. The long lap around here. Let's ride on board and do a lap guide. With Dan Miller. Turn 1 is a high-speed right-hander. The key is early but controlled turn in and use all the runoff road on exit. You want to brake just after the crest. Don't over slow. Turn in tight. Go all the way out to the runoff road. Turn 3 is a tight right-hand turn. Brake early and trail into the corner. Key is to get a clean exit. It leads to the longest straight on the track. The slipstream is important here, but not paramount to success. Through the kink of turn 4, it's not as dramatic as you think, but it is a kern just like turn 1 at Laguna. Steep downhill braking, brake earlier than you think at turn 5 because the runoff is there and available, but it cuts off. Turn 6, braking is assisted by the elevation, so use it to your advantage. Early apex, let the hill help you rotate. Going into turn 7, the fast right-hander is just a big kink, so just stay committed. This sets you up all the way for the carousel, long sweeping right. The approach is medium speed but requires patience. Can't overdrive the car. You gotta keep your steering input minimal. Otherwise, you will overdrive your car. Feather the throttle to maintain balance throughout the corner. The kink, high-speed right-hander. Approach is fast and dangerous. No margin for error. Just stay off the curbs and you'll be all right. Up ahead, the battle between Stagnito and Chris Carr is going to come down to Canada Corner. Heavy downhill braking, using your braking marker boards, you brake cleanly, and your exit matters more than your entry. Vincenzo Stagnito seeing that and getting it right. Carr trying to challenge. Miller ready to attack, coming into the final corner of the racetrack. You got to brake earlier than you think yet again, because the exit leads onto the biggest straightaway. And that, my friends, is a lap around Eckhart Lake, Wisconsin. Vincenzo Stagnito gets passed up by Chris Carr at the entrance of turn 1. That was quick, fast, in a hurry. There goes Miller with a pass on the grass to the inside line. Vincenzo Stagnito tries to shut the door but leaves enough room on entry, but Miller backed out of that one. Dan Miller again on his attack, the South African driver in the number 23. Oleg Karmanov, what is going on here? How did you end up there, Oleg? Oh my goodness! That's at the exit of the carousel. And I think Karmanov is going to have big damage. And might have to get a tow. Let's go on board with Karmanov and see. Oh, yeah. He's got significant damage. But decides to stay out despite it. Okay, Oleg, if you say so. Stagnito continues to lead Dan Miller, who's just a hair faster. And we all know the common saying, it's one thing to catch, it's a whole nother thing to pass. No meatball, you're absolutely right, Andrew. So no meatball, no pit. Oh, Vincenzo Stagnito, gotta keep it collected, brother. Otherwise, Dan Miller is ready to advance up to P5. Take a look at the championship top 5 quickly. Wright still in P1. Richards running in 3rd behind Mattia Ubertali. Oleg Karmanov in P7. This could be exactly what Richards needed for P2 in the championship. And Andrew Kesterton feeding me the data I need. Andrew, thank you so much. My own personal Shay Adams letting me know 10 laps remain. Here we go. Dan Miller sees the writing on the wall. The clock is ticking. He wants to go for a move. Running into traffic, that'll be the 12th place car of David Dury they'll come across. And we know again a common phrase in saying, lap traffic giveth, lap traffic taketh away. One of the keys to the race tonight should have been to maintain patience in traffic. Keys to the race tonight here at Road at America. We're nailing the brakes, maximizing the exits, exercising curb control, and making sure that you built the lap. Magneto a long way back, still flashing the headlights, trying to get some assistance from the car ahead. Dan Miller getting dragged down the front straight. Help us help you folks. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell here on YouTube. Get notifications for when we go live next on AK Esports and Sausage Dodgers Network. That gap keeps coming down, slowly but surely. On board with Miller again. Look at that. Ubertali might upset the championship leader, Thomas Wright. He had a 1.5 second gap. He's now 9/10 down. Maybe a little bump and run to help out Dan Miller. He avoids doing it. Lets Stagnito make his own bed. Making a mistake into the final corner. Like we said, key to the race, maximizing those exits. Lots of weaving going on. Continued down the back straight. We switch over to the front stretch now. Getting dragged to the inside. Dan Miller has to switch it up to the outside line. Coming down through turn 4. This might turn into drama between Dan Miller and Stagnito. Miller on the optimum line. Stagnito up the road, but just barely. This is going to be a bump there, a slight touch between Miller and Stagnito. All the way out to the runoff road, Dan Miller carries the momentum. Stagnito, the Sim Racing EU driver, can't do anything to retort. In the background, David Dury watches on as Stagnito licks the stamp and sends it on the 23. Look at the last 5 laps. Dan Miller has exercised a tremendous amount of patience. Now it's time for him to attack. Take a look up here between Thomas Wright and Mattia Ubertali. It was a gain of just about nil last time by, but I'm keeping my eye on lap 34, that half-second gap that Ubertali gained. What happened to Thomas Wright on that occasion? "15 minutes left on the clock, folks." What can the drivers do with just a little bit of time remaining? And Miller chases down Stagnito, tries to get a nice switchback at turn 5, gets that one done as Stagnito goes in a little too wide. Stagnito now down 1. Dan Miller up 2 positions tonight. Mattia Ubertali chases down Thomas Wright in towards turn 1. I thought he was going to go for the move as the gap come down. Found 0.7 of a second that last time by. What is going on to Thomas Wright? Thomas Wright may have not changed tires, says Andrew Kesterton, but neither did Ubertali. 28.8 seconds in the lane. By the way, Chris Carr, who did change tires, back up into P4. Ooh, let's see this. Let's check out Chris Carr's timeline. A dramatic turn of events with a low of P2 and a heroic climb back up the order. Paul Sims within a second of Lewis Butler, just on the cusp of getting something done there. The Lamborghini could be more friendly on tires, Andrew, you're right, but you're absolutely more critical about your second point. It depends on the setup tremendously, especially with a car that is so agile and unforgiving. I think the setup comes down to a lot of this. Ubertali just getting it right this time. Ubertali waiting for another small mistake from Thomas Wright to take advantage of. Same can be said for the battle between Vincenzo Stagnito and Dan Miller. Ubertali is keeping it on the black stuff, that's for sure. Taking advantage of the cuts where he can. See him clipping a little bit of grass there, turning that Lamborghini into a very expensive lawnmower. Going back to its original roots of tractor and farm work, the Lamborghini. Just 10 minutes remain on the clock, folks. Again, who's going to come out on top and who's going to be best of the rest? It looks like for now, Thomas Wright will come home with the championship win. 5 points separate P1 from P2, and then just a few points separate 2 from 3. The gap continues to remain just as tight as we go down the order, all the way down to 5th place, just separated by 5. Ubertali continues to try to attack Thomas Wright in that 68 McLaren. Thomas Wright can't keep this up forever, can he? Down the front stretch, this is where the draft will pay the most dividends. Staying close to your opponent and within a half-second distance will give you about 5 miles per hour faster down the front stretch. Ubertali keeps taking those cheeky peeks. Ubertali inside on Thomas Wright here. And open doors presenting themselves, but Not quite ready to go for it, I would guess. Seven minutes remaining on the clock. See how many laps we have left when the leaders cross the line. Mattia Ubertali goes off track. Comes back on, loses the ground as he continues to push hard. Andrew Kesterton might be right. I think two to go at the line. Barney doesn't look to be having the flag in his hand just yet, meaning we will get 2 more laps of running at the very least. No, Andrew, you're right. We will get 3. I apologize. We'll get 3 more laps. Does everybody have enough fuel to make it to the end? We're worried about Karmanov and his early pit stop at lap 17. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? We'll keep our eye on the driver down in 7th. Tim Williams getting into a little bit of trouble with Lorenzo Gorgetto. We saw them get together early on in the race. Did not end in tears. It was a great battle between Lorenzo Gorgetto and Tim Williams. It was just an unfair fight as there were 2 teammates against 1 sausage. Now they can resume their bout 1v1 mono a mono. Tim Williams now ahead of Lorenzo Gorgetto. Running the final few. Final 5 minutes underway here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Under half a second between Wright and Ubertali. That's where things become spicy all over again. Last lap magic. Gapping hard. Tim Williams pulled out all the stops. Pulled in a 205.5 compared to the 207.698. What can Ubertali do as... Whoa! Hold on. Did he go off track again? Oh boy. That could have been a Code Brown moment. Vincenzo Stagnito catches up to the rear end of Dan Miller. Uncle Lloyd Butler all over the back end of Paul Sims' Porsche. Barney out here waving the white flag for us to conclude this run. Little mistake there for Vincenzo Stagnito. Opens the door for Oleg Karmanov. Barney in the corner waving the white one for us. Thomas Wright has battled his heart out this evening. Contended with some of the best. Left them in his dust, and now continues to drive silently into the night. Thomas Wright really has done a fantastic job leading us from green to checkered flag. Can't wait to see how many laps he's led also. Coming through the kink for the final time. He'll take us all the way through the Kettle Bottoms into Canada Corner. A 1.9 second gap is nothing to slouch over, that's for sure. Thomas Wright is going to cross the line and take the checkered flag here for the finale of the Sausage Dodgers SentriCore MIP GT3 Challenge. Ubertali brings it home in P2. Mark Richards further back is going to bring it home in third. Matteo Batali in second, Mark Richards in third, Chris Carr crosses the line in fourth. More drivers crossing the line. Here comes Dan Miller, Oleg Karmanov, Vincenzo Stagnito. Tim Williams, Lorenzo Gorgetto, Paul Sims, Uncle Lloyd Butler, and David Dury are going to round out our drivers to cross the line. As we wait for those drivers to cross the line, big shout out and thanks to our title sponsor, of course, SentriCore MIP. Without them, we wouldn't be here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America has treated us to some great racing tonight. And Uncle Lloyd crosses the line to bring it home in P10. Let's take a look at our championship results for round 6. Thomas Wright, Matteo Bertali, and Mark Richards, the 1-2-3 punch combo. 42 laps led for Thomas Wright at the end of the day. Hard Charger Road goes to Uncle Lloyd Butler, who's up 5. Matteo Bertali, Mark Richards, Chris Carr just outside the podium, Oleg Karmanov, Vincenzo Stagnito, Tim Williams, Lorenzo Gorgetto, Uncle Lloyd Butler, Paul Sims, Elo Danilo Vinci, Daniel Moffat, and Konstantinos Nikolaitis finishing out the race. Waiting for our drivers to come in for their interviews now, and waiting for the results to get populated also. We'll get the official championship results populated here in just a moment, and we'll decide or find out who's the provisional champion. Ooh, okay. The results are in, folks. The results are in. Looks like Thomas Wright took the win of the championship with 203 points. Mark Richards comes home in second with 196. Oleg Karmanov in P3 with 182. And Tim Williams just outside in fourth place with 179. Man, that was close. What a championship run we've had. We have a few drivers ready to get interviewed. Let's go ahead and first talk to Mark Richards. Now, Mark, you had a wonderful run tonight and a dramatic race. I mean, able to finish P3 at a track like this. How does it feel around Elkhart Lake?
Oh, thank you, Sagar. Yeah, no, I had a really good time. Didn't expect it, but no, just kept going and consistent laps.
Definitely. All it took was consistency at the end of the day. I mean, at some point in the race, it got so quiet, it felt like we were doing a high-performance driving experience day where all you're doing is battling the stopwatch, right?
Yeah, it did, because of the low turnout, it definitely did feel like hot lapping for quite some time. I was envious of some of the other guys for having someone to race, but you know, I did need to win this race, or I did need to beat Oleg to keep my P2 in the championship. So
not because of the turnout, but because it's just a long lap here at Road America, right? It leads to drivers kind of spreading out. This is a driver's circuit, you know, it's got its technical bits to it, but it's fast, flowy, while also technical. So it leads to some good pack battling, while also some calmness as well at the same time. Saw some great battling throughout the race. And then Mark Richards, it looks like you came home P2 in the championship standings at the end of the day, well, provisionally at least. The 420 here on the podium for the championship. How does it feel as a sausage dodger?
oh, it feels great. You know, I just got to bring it home for the sausages. You know, one of us had to do it. Just had to be me.
Right on. Thank you very much for your love and support here at Sausage Dodgers Racing, Mark Richards, and everything all that you guys do behind the scenes. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or thank tonight?
Yeah, well, thank yourself, Sagar. You know, you're doing a great job. Thank the viewers for watching, everyone for participating, the other admins that make it happen, and it's been a good season. So looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. GTPs and GT3s. You got your sign up completed, Mark?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, back to the real cars, the GTPs.
I look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark Richards. Have a great night and stay safe out there.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to a driver that was a bridesmaid from the podium, unfortunately, but he is our fearless leader and commandant. It is Tim Williams, the pilot of the 797. Tim, that was close at the end of the evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That was interesting. I thought we were talking about tires before the start of the race, whether we were going to change, were we not going to change, and I elected to not change and really look after the tires at the beginning of the race, and I managed to catch up with Lorenzo at the end, and I think his tires were cooked and mine were still quite good. I was still lapping sort of very similar pace, so I was quite pleased with how I looked after them, to be honest.
Absolutely. It was a hard charge tonight for a lot of drivers to keep the tires cool, especially through fast corners like the carousel, kettle bottoms, and of course the kink.
Yeah, Road America's, as much as I enjoy Road America, it never seems to welcome me with open arms. I tend to have a lot of spins here, but not tonight. It was, I really enjoyed that tonight, and everyone else had some cracking pace up at the front. It was, there was no way I was going to match that, and I never am, but I'm just happy to be in these races and watching everyone enjoy themselves and being part of it. It's really good.
It really is. Tim, is there anybody you'd like to shout out, thank, or any announcements you'd like to give, sir?
Yeah, just a big shout out to our sponsors, SentriCore. Really appreciate the sponsorship. Really helps with the live streams and the practice servers and setting everything up, and so that's much appreciated. Big shout out to all the drivers and all the viewers on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, and big thanks to you, mate, for all your hard work again, as per normal, and definitely all the admin team and everyone else. And yes, hopefully see everybody next Thursday for Multiclass Season 6, and the Tuesday after that we have the BMW M2 Cup, which should be a bit of fun. More of a fun little series, that one, just a bit of a light-hearted thing, so, but it should still be good.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tim. Go ahead.
Just something else, just to just for the Season 6 Multiclass, we will be changing our qualifying a little bit. We will be running open qualifying, where GT3s will have the first 15 minutes and GTPs will have the second 15 minutes. So it should make qualifying a bit more of a spectacle to watch as well. So it gives you something else to stream and chat about. So it should make things a little bit more interesting for the viewers too.
Awesome. Looking forward to the realism of the split qualifying.
Yeah, trying something new.
That'll be fun to cast. Thank you very much, Tim. Looking forward to it. Have a great night, brother, and stay safe. We'll see you in 1 week's time, brother.
Cheers, my dude. Cheers.
Oh, man. What a fun time, folks. I mean, Tim said it best. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. That's the most I can do to ask from you all. But man, oh man, what a championship run. What a season this has been. What an amazing time we've had. Together, we've been all across the world. From the likes of Watkins, Glen, Oran Park, Spa, Francorchamps, Mount Panorama, BIR, and Road America. We've done it all. And the drivers have been tested. The test of time and skill. These 90-minute heats, who's come out on top? Well, it's been none other than Thomas Wright. He commands the day and takes charge of the field, but a new season begins. The GT3 GTP Endurance Challenge begins next week. As Tim said, come join us on the racetrack next Thursday, here live on Sausage Dodgers Racing and AK Esports. If you want to get involved, scan that QR code on the bottom right-hand side of your screen to get injected into the platform. Scan this QR code in the middle of your screen to donate to the stream. It goes directly to keeping the lights on here for Sausage Dodgers Racing. Thank you very much for joining, folks. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag all season long. All good things have to come to an end, and so shall this, unfortunately. Have a great night, everybody. Most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye for now.